I think the biggest misconception clients have is that we as artists, we have ideas out of thin air.
Some people think it's really easy, that you should just be able to hit the Make Cool button on your computer and it just happens.
You know, because you're artistic and creative doesn't mean that you don't need to plan.
If you're a creative type, then you just have these flashes of genius.
Oh, I saw the HGTV show. It's in 5 seconds, right? No, it's a lot of work.
I think interpreting a client's needs usually comes down to asking the right questions.
If you don't understand your message or understand your client's message, then you're lost.
If your client's telling you color names by name of food, run away. Get the color book and show. Because seriously, it's like, oh, I'd love the wall to be salmon. And I'm like, is your salmon raw or cooked? Because that can change a lot what salmon is.
Sometimes they have no idea. Sometimes they're very specific. Sometimes it's easier to ask, well, what don't you want?
My creative process, I think, first of all, I need to have some kind of inspiration. I think that's when everything starts.
It also helps me to look at pictures and things other artists have done just to get me into that zone. And that's why artists, I think they always go to the same places and they gather around and they go to museums a lot. It's not to copy, it's because inspiration is contagious. So if you're gonna work and you're browsing through a magazine and you're seeing these beautiful spaces and you have that haha moment, I can do this too.
I would characterize my work as being very much a just happen sort of thing. I like to put myself in the position for something to happen and then let it go.
Then sometimes you need to go to the art store and just get a paintbrush or just get a new pencil. And I actually just went today and bought some new markers and I can't wait to use them. It's like that new box of crayons that you get, in the 2nd grade. There's nothing more exciting than all sharp, brand new crayons.
Usually I know when my work is done. When I smile, I think.
That's the hardest part, is to know when to quit. I used to work with a sculptor who said that he would just eventually have to abandon his work because he would just work on it to death. And I think there's a certain amount of truth that you eventually just have to look at and say, that's it, close it, and go on.
Sometimes there's a meeting and I have to make a presentation, and that means it's done. But usually I will ask some people whose opinion I trust, other designers, other creative people.
When I'm working as part of a team, the one thing I have to make sure that I do is be more open. Having ideas and being kind of stubborn sometimes, it is more challenging when you are in a group, but the one thing I do always want to do is be open to the other ideas because it just enhances the project.
I do think that an important piece of the creative process is the critique. Whether that's in a classroom with the students or if it's with other creatives, or ultimately when the client sees it and they critique it, I think the feedback is invaluable.
Sometimes you can overthink. There's this analysis paralysis sort of thing where you overthink it and you forget the obvious. So sometimes you got to stop and sort of start at the beginning, and then you tend to work out of the rut that way.
Some people think, oh, if I'm not inspired today, I won't work. Beautiful on paper, but yes, guess what? You have to be prolific. You have to find that. You cannot. We don't have this beautiful romantic vision that the artist has to be inspired to work today. I'm sorry. There's a real life out there. You better get inspired every day.
And really, the greatest motivation is to see the firsthand how much of a difference I can make in my customers' life and see happiness on their faces.
Have passion for what you're doing. And then because when you have passion, everything becomes easier.
Have one way of doing things, but don't be afraid to try something new.
Don't be detoured by what someone may tell you that may not be the best for you or it's not good for you. If you feel it and it's something you desire to do, look into it, study it, and create your own process.
Then you do it intuitively, and that's the beauty. When you go to a shoot and you're working it and you're not even really having to think about it that much, it's all just happening naturally, that's when it's great. That's when you're really firing on all cylinders, and that's what's fun.
I would say so much of what I do, I can't give you a percentage, just a whole lot of it is never done.
I mean, for real artists, the work is never done. And if we keep looking at it, we're going to change it every day. It's never going to be done until I have a deadline.
I just think that I am a better designer because I work through the creative process every time.